Hi, I'm Katie Sky. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Pinecone, my fall forest core island. And right now we are by Beau's house, which we did last week, and he has the cute little hay field, hay ride. If you missed last week's video, go ahead and check it out. We also did this little area by Beau's house. There's a little Beau himself. And then we did Pudge's house, who is down here. Ignore the flowers. And this is the area that we're going to work on today, the secret beach, and then in front of my house, as well as the interiors of my house. And let's go ahead and get started. We're just going to start throwing stuff down. So honestly, this front little area by my house is mostly just filler. Actually, most of the stuff by my house period is just filler stuff. I didn't have like a specific build that I wanted to do for my house like I have for all of the other houses. Like Beau has the hayride, Pudge is the pumpkin patch. Like I didn't have anything really like that for my house, which I normally do. So it was just gonna be mostly natural things because Forestcore, and then fall things because fall. And you know, we're just doing the usual thing, adding in street lamps, adding in the festival balloons, the wheat field of course, and then trees, as long as I don't put them so close that they won't grow because it's next to my house, and then bushes and flowers. So a lot of what the other filler areas are like. And then of course Dora was getting in my way, but she is pretty cute, so I'm gonna let it slide. And because my house is so close to the pumpkin patch and the hayride and what eventually is gonna be the fall festival on that beach, I wanted it to be very fall, so we are going to use a lot of pumpkins and fall type items. I swear I can speak today. And we are definitely getting closer to the end of this island. Only a few more videos actually. That is wild to think about. So we are gonna add the little tiny library because I love books. I'm a writer, so I have to have those outside of my house. And then we're gonna do little rocking chairs so that I can sit out there and read, of course. I do have to thank you guys for all the love that you've been giving me on my videos, especially since this is such an old game now, which is kind of crazy to think about, but it's nice to see that people are still finding new creators and new creators like me are starting. But all of your kind comments and everything it just makes my day. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it so much, and it's, you know, nice to be in a different aspect of the community now. But I love you guys already so much, so thank you just for all of your support. We are, of course, adding our festival balloons in our wheat field as we start building out this area more and more. And gotta make sure we're adding in all of the spooky items, but obviously turning them around so that they're no longer spooky, they're only fall. And another thing I'm really appreciative to you guys for is putting up with a fall island in spring. I know that a lot of people don't like watching anything out of season, so those that have been following along, I do appreciate you a lot. And I promise the next island is going to be summer related for summertime. And then we'll do another fall island for the fall time. I just really wanted to do this island because it's been like itching in my brain for it. And you know, it'll get me through to fall because I kind of got to be in fall a little bit already. So I'm happy that I was able to do it so early in the year, because I do have another idea for my next fall island, although I think this one will be classified as Halloween, and I am excited for that one. So, you know, I'm still gonna do more fall islands this year. It's my favorite season in this game. It's so nice. And moving on to this back area, we're gonna add in some fence. I know, I never use fences and now I'm using fences. Who am I? But I did feel like I should do some fencing in this area, just behind, to kind of block off the rocks. So that's what I did. You can see what I'm doing, but I'm putting fences in on the rocks. Just to block it off, like I said. I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. And then we're just gonna do some very light rock decorating. Again, I don't normally do the rocks, but we are this time. But you'll see that in just a second. We're putting down some foliage first in this little front area just to fill it out some more. This area was very, like, it looked like it was pretty small, but it took so many things to fill it up and make it look full and decorated. I don't really know why it took so long, but it did. And now we're back to the rocks, because why would we finish one area before moving on? That doesn't make sense, does it? And then just a couple items, like I said, nothing too wild, just filler items really, and then some fall items. I can't talk today apparently. And now we're just gonna jump over to put some little bat friends down and finish off this little front area in front of the rocking chairs and make our way towards the secret beach. I am proud to announce that I did in fact decorate the secret beach, which I am notorious for forgetting about on my islands. So I'm very proud that I remembered this time and, you know, even connected it to like my house build, which normally I'm like, I'll remember to do it at the end, and then I never do. And as I'm filling in this last little bit up here by my house, why don't you tell me what islands you're working on? Are you working on an island right now? What's the theme? Where are you in the process? What are your plans for the island? Just give it to me all. I've already kind of started planning out my next like 3 islands, which, you know, probably isn't the best for concentrating on my current islands, but you know, it's just how I am, I guess. How do you plan your island? Do you just go in and kind of start decorating, or do you plan it out? How do you plan it out? I'm very curious about everyone else's process. And now we've moved on to the secret beach, which I'm super proud I remembered to do. And we're just gonna throw down a few simple items, nothing too intense. You know, a rock, the little tourist thing, telescope, that's the word, and a log stake. And then we of course need our little, not the spooky lantern set, silly, you need the little marshmallow fire, the leaf fire. I think that one's so cute. And then a little place for you to sit down and kind of enjoy the view. And then we just gotta move this little glowing spot and put the last couple of decorations down, and then a couple of little leaf piles, because I have not been doing good putting the little dropped things everywhere. And now we're moving on to the inside. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I did have to really cut out a lot of the stuff, because this front room especially took me so long. I don't know why, but I was just struggling with the proportions and where I wanted to put stuff, and I didn't really have like a firm idea of what I wanted to do with this room. I just knew that I kind of wanted to decorate it. It was going to be the living room and it was going to be like the kitchen, and that's all I really knew going into it. But can we just take a moment and just recognize how cute this wallpaper is with the falling leaves? It is so cute. I love it so much. And I'm glad I finally found an island that I could use it on. So all of the items that are currently on the screen, I don't think I ended up using any of them except maybe the fireplace. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. It took a long time. So there's some stuff that I did cut out of me just putting stuff down and then taking it away. because I'm like, that's not going to be interesting, and then the video is going to be like an hour and a half long, because it really did take me that long to do just this one room. This one room took me the same amount of time as the whole rest of the house combined did. I was struggle bussing real hard for it, that's for sure. And it probably didn't help that I didn't have all of the items that I would have wanted to use, especially for like the walls and the like ceiling decor. No, it was pretty much all of the decor. I didn't have everything I should have, so I was trying to make it work with what I did have, and I don't recommend doing it that way. Next time I need to make sure that I'm planning out the interiors just like I plan out the exteriors, so that I can make sure I have all of the items. It's crazy how that works. But the living room area honestly was the easiest part. When I got to the other side where we put the kitchen, that's where I really ran into problems. And this is why I kind of want to do an HHP like series on my channel, so that I can practice doing the interiors so that they're not as difficult for me anyways. You know, practice makes perfect, that kind of a thing. But I don't know that you guys want to watch me struggle so much, because it was a big struggle. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Like, it was not easy. And normally the front room is the easiest room that I have, but this time it just was not cooperating, or it wasn't just like working right in my brain. And so I was just like, I was not having a good time, that's for sure. Anyway, enough of my complaining. You have heard more than enough of that. We're gonna get into this build, which I wanted to do like an eat-in kitchen. The kitchen is kind of connected to the living room. I could have done the kitchen in its own room, and I've done that before, but these rooms are so big that doing them as just one thing, a lot of the times it just doesn't work, at least not for me. I don't end up liking how they look. So I tried to do like 2 or 3 ideas for the same room. So like you have your little eating area with the table, you have your kitchen area, and then you have your living room area. Okay, I am gonna complain about just one more thing, and then I won't complain anymore. Why is it that there are amazing sounds and, you know, background music for everywhere else on this island, but when we're decorating interiors, it's just like dead silence? It makes no sense to me. So, I hope you enjoy the background music that I did put in for you. I find it very relaxing, but I just think that's so strange. So here's one of the renditions of the kitchen that I did and then I hated, and I was like, this is trash. Let's try something else. And then I tried something else and I also did not like that, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I really just wanted some counters, the stove, the fridge, and a couple of little items, but everything I did kind of looked kind of funky, or it wasn't what I was looking for the space. Like, I don't hate how this one looks, but it just wasn't what I had been imagining for this area. So I wanted to immediately change it. And I'm still kind of annoyed with myself with how long it took me to do this interior. But, you know, when you're not prepared, things can take longer. And now we are just moving on to working on some ceiling stuff, getting them placed right. So I love this candle chandelier for the living room area, and then this like pendant for the kitchen area. I use them like that quite a lot. And then here's where I deleted all of the kitchen to try again. And this is the one that I ended up liking. I liked this using the kitchen system so that I don't actually know why. So it has all of the elements you need for a good kitchen. Because for some reason I was stuck on it needs to be functional. And I'm like, but you're not actually living here. It doesn't need to be functional. It doesn't even have to be a kitchen or a living room in this front area. And I don't know, I was stuck on it has to be functional. You know, it has to make sense and all of this stuff. And it was just, I made it way too complex, that's for sure. But after approximately 4 or 5 different kitchen variations, we did land on a good setup. And now we're just gonna decorate the little bits and bobs. You know, the little espresso, the knife block, and then we need to put a little pumpkin tower right there to end that little kitchen area, and just finish off the wall decor. I really like using the knife sets, and I don't know why, but they're really cute. And here is the final little bit, and I'm just making sure I can walk through without having to scooch, which I did have to scooch there, so I am gonna move some stuff around. Just kind of getting the spooky stool in the right spot so you can still put your little drink down, but it's not blocking the path. And now we're just gonna work on the lighting, which I don't normally do lighting and soundscape, but I did this time and I'm obsessed. And like, I loved changing the lighting to like different colors. Once I discovered that you could actually do that, I was like, I did not know you could do that. I never really tried changing anything like that. I normally just leave it all the same, but you can do some really cool things. And now we are moving on to the next room, which is going to be the bathroom. And this is going to be a combo with the laundry room, because like I was saying, I think these rooms are too big to make them one thing a lot of the times. Certain things I definitely think work, but other things like making a bathroom, just a bathroom in one of these rooms, is really difficult. Otherwise it looks weird to me. But that could also just be because I'm not very good at interiors. I'm sure there are some amazing interior decorators in this game that can make one room look like an amazing, luxurious bathroom. I am not one of those. I knew I for sure wanted, obviously, like the vanity. I wanted a bathtub of some sort, and then obviously like the toilet area. Everything else, I just was like, it would be like a bonus. So I don't end up keeping the shower stall because it looks awkward. And it doesn't make sense because it's very boxy and it also just doesn't look good. But I got rid of that and I started liking it a lot better, and I figured out which side I wanted each kind of area on and went from there. And I did try to make the little toilet area bigger so that I could put something next to the toilet as well. But I would have had to move the screen into like the middle of the entrance. And so that just wasn't going to work. It was too big. So I don't end up doing that because it just wasn't looking right. And also it's weird that you would come into a screen like in the walkway. So we don't do that, but you know, I think it ends up looking really cute anyways, as is everything I say. I feel like I think that everything is cute at this point, but it is to me. I worked hard on it, even though I did not like doing it at the time. I think it came out cute, and I'm proud of it. And this is where I start to struggle with the little toilet area, so you'll see that struggle. But I'm just not that adept at interiors yet. I can do them, but I generally am not very good at them, which is why I want to start practicing more so that I can get better at them. But I see some of the interiors that people post on like Instagram and the ones I see on Pinterest, and they're so amazing, and I'm like, how does your brain work like that? Like, I never would have thought about that in a million years, and it's so good. And moving on, I put a little bench to kind of hold some items, some doodads, including the little rubber ducky. I love the rubber ducky so much. He's so cute. And now I'm just trying to figure out what table I want to use for the laundry area, where you would like fold your laundry and put it in piles and stuff. I had a few different options and I was just testing them out, and then I immediately did not like the reception counter because of the stuff you could see on the underneath part. And I went with the wood plank table, which I love this table, but I think it just looks so much cuter than the ranch table in this one instance. And I of course have to rearrange all of the little items on the bench almost immediately, and then we're moving on to the stuff that's on the walls, which I didn't use a lot because it is a bathroom, so I don't think that you really have a lot on the walls in that type of a room, but that could just be me. And I wanted to make sure that I could use this little ducky, and then the little toilet paper is so cute. So I was trying to find a way that I could really make them work together without it looking funky. And I would love to add like a little rug in, but I don't know if that would be weird in a bathroom laundry area. So I just went ahead and changed the lighting, because that's what I'm gonna do for every room in this house now that I've I guess discovered it. I'm pretty sure I knew that it was there, I just forgot about it. And then doing the little soundscapes. Gotta make sure that we pick the perfect one for the bathroom before we move on to the next room. And this room is going to be the dining room. I wanted to make it mirror the kind of tea party area that is at Blair's house, but still be different, obviously. So this is like where, you know, maybe the villagers come over and we have like some dinner parties with them or something like that. I just thought that it would be really cute to do it like this, and maybe we're gathering here for Thanksgiving or some other holiday during the month of like November, for those that don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So, you know, it could be anything, but I think it's kind of cute. Although I do wish I could put that item in the middle of the two tables instead of it having to be in the middle of one table. That was kind of a bummer, but it all works out. It all works out. And I will have to say that this is the room that I had the clearest idea on what I was gonna do, so it went really fast, which I liked because I had been decorating things in this house for so long at this point. I was ready to be done. And we're just adjusting the lighting before we're going to move on to the next one, to the next house. No, to the next room. I can speak, I swear. And this room is going to be the library / office, because I am a writer, so I need a place to, you know, write my books. And so that's what this room is. And I'm not going to lie, I would love to have this room in my actual house. Like, this would be so nice for an office, just surrounded by books and pretty things. That would be so cool. But at least we have it in the game, right? So we had to, of course, add a ton of the bookshelves because I need a place to put all of the amazing books. And the spacing for this was kind of funky, so I only ended up putting up a few instead of lining the entire room with it. And then we're just gonna place some of this furniture. So we have a couple things that are gonna go at the front, and I'm gonna actually flip some things. Like the little chest of drawers is gonna go behind the desk, and then the little music stand thing is gonna go by the door. I don't remember what that's called, sorry. And then we're just gonna put the little small items to kind of finish the space off with lots of books, a computer to write on, a tablet that I might be reading a book on or something. Things that you would see in a library or office setup. So I think it came out really cute. Is anyone surprised that I think that? Also, the patchwork chairs look so comfortable. So we're gonna go with purple for this room before we move upstairs, which is going to be the bedroom, and that one's gonna have more of the spooky wallpaper, which I haven't used up until this point, and it is pretty cute, so I wanted to use it somewhere. And this ended up being the room. So obviously one half is going to be the sleeping bed part, and then the other half is going to be like the closet area, vanity, like the getting ready area. So I grabbed a lot of the items, and then I wanted to start with the kind of closet area and vanity area, just trying to figure out what the setup should be before moving on. But I tried a couple different things. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the ranch wardrobes or the antique wardrobe, and I think I ended up going with the antique one just because it has more of a presence almost. And of course it's not a build made by me if I'm not flip-flopping in between things. So I flipped to the bedroom side, and then I flipped back to the other side, and then back to the bedroom. I don't know why I'm like this, but you know, it is what it is. So we're just doing some mismatched, what are they called? Nightstands, that's what they're called. And then I decided that I don't want it on that wall anymore. I want to actually have it facing a different direction, this direction that you're seeing me put it in. And so I have to adjust everything for that. And then we want a little seating section. Normally I would have put like the TV right there, but I wanted to be able to sit in front of the little fireplace, and I couldn't do that with the TV there because it's so tall. So that was kind of a little awkward area, but you know, it's still livable. Even though no one actually lives here, it's just a video game, but still, that's my thought process for these things. And we of course need the fan over the bed or the bedroom area. I don't know about you, but I am a big fan person. I'm a fan of fans. I always have to have a fan going. I have 2 fans in my room. It helps with, you know, drowning out other noise, but it also just, I like it. And I've always been like that, so, you know, I love fans. So I almost always have them in my bedroom areas in my house for this game, because that's how I am in real life. And I also decided that the vanity should face into the room instead of against the wall, and then we could do a cute little pumpkin area right in front of it so that you know that it's fall time. So we're just gonna put the last few little touches, you know, make sure that we have all of the spooky lanterns turned the right way, add in some books and some of the candles so that we can have like a really cozy feeling in the bedroom, because I feel like that's what you need the vibes for in a bedroom. It should be really relaxing and cozy and comfortable, even in a video game. And who doesn't love a candle moment? I don't actually use candles very much anymore. I do the wax melts because, you know, some candles can be kind of toxic, so I try to stay away from that, but I do love, you know, the smell of a candle. And now we're just gonna put some clothing items on the wall to kind of fill up a little bit more of the space in the closet area. And I also just thought putting this purse on the wall near the Halloween section is super cute. And so that's what I did. And on this, I mostly did like the hat items, not really like the dresses or shirts or anything. I mainly focused on like the accessories. And the center of the room still looks kind of empty to me. I don't really know what I can do to fix that, but you know, maybe it'll just have to stay empty, or maybe I missed an idea that I could have done, a different idea. Let me know what you would have done to make the center not look so empty, but this is the best that I could do, and I am happy with how it came out. And this room I think goes purple, and now we're down in the basement, which I always just put the doll in the basement because it's really creepy and I find it funny. So sorry for those of you who do not like the doll, but this is the basement. Just avoid the basement if you're gonna come and visit. But that is the build for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you need to catch up on the rest of this series, go ahead and check out the Pinecone playlist and let me know in the comments what your favorite part of the build was today. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!